Hi all. In this short video, we want to show how to make numerical attribute categorical using formulas or some type of calculation or even some kind of if statement in CODAP. These are also considered some type of calculations in CODAP because basically we are using formulas or even the if statement which considered to be type of formulas in CODAP. So what we want to do for this specific example is we want to categorize the BMI information according to CDC guideline using if statement. So what we have here, let's just go over this data table we have. And in this data table, what you see here is information of the insurance of some primary beneficiary. So first we have like age, which is age of those primary beneficiary, or sex, if they're female or male, BMI, which is also called body mass index. We also have number of children covered by the health insurance. We have smoking situation as well as the beneficiary residential area, and also some individual medical costs billed by the health insurance. So we have all of those specific information on this data table. Now, the only column or attribute that we care about for this example is we are looking into BMI, and we have some numerical values for this attribute. Now, what we want to do, we are trying to convert this numerical into categorical attribute using CDC guidelines or definition. Now, for example, we want to use this definition here. This is BMI categories according to the CDC guideline, and they're saying that a BMI of less than 18.5 is classified as underweight. BMI of 18.5 to less than 25 is considered a healthy weight, and so forth. So we're going to use this and make our formula or the if statement that we're going to use. So we have the steps here for you, and we have the specific if statement that you will need to put into the formula. But we go over these steps together so we can just practice. The first thing we can do, let's just create another column for BMI range and replace all those categorical value into that column. So exactly like the previous example, you will need to just make a new column, click anywhere on that table so that you will have this plus sign. Click on the plus sign. So you will have a new column. Just name your column, and we can just name this column to be BMI range. And click anywhere. I can just expand this a little bit. And what we can do, we can just move this one and put it next to the BMI. So if you just click here and drag and drop it right after the BMI column, if I leave it there, I will have the BMI range. And this way I can see my BMI information together. So all the numerical as well as the range, which is the categorical information on this column. So what we need to do now, we need to type a formula for this column. So the formula is the if statement. So now if I click anywhere on top of this column, exactly like the previous example, I will have this menu open, and I will need to choose edit formula. And then I will have the window open. So now we need to type if statement. And that's exactly the same if statement that you see here. And let's just talk about how really this if statement work, or in general, how the if statement works in CODA. So first of all, you would have if. So I can write the whole thing here. Let's just cancel for now. And then what we would have is, this is in general the if statement in CODAP. So if, then we have some type of attribute less than, this is the condition we have. Condition, and then a comma, and then I have category 1. I'm going to write category 1, and that should be in double quote, and then comma, double quote, category 2. I just want to talk about this a little bit. What does that mean? So first we have the if statement. So we will have some spaces here, but I didn't really consider that for our general formula of if statement. So we are saying we have the if statement, and over here we have some condition. So this is the condition function that evaluates whether the specific criterion is met. So what happened is, if this condition that is being tested is true, and if that specific attribute is, for example, less than the given condition, then the category 1 is going to be our output, because that is true. If this is true, the category 1 would be our option, and that's going to be the output or result of the if condition, since that is true. And if a statement is not true, this is the else part of it. And in that case, category 2 is the output. So therefore, these are the values, or whatever, not even the values. Sometimes we could say these are what the function is going to return. So if this condition really satisfies, the if statement will return the first category. If it didn't satisfy, that will return the second category. Now, if we look at what we have here, so we have if the BMI, which is the value from this column here, is less than 18.5, if this condition is true, therefore the output of this statement would be this. So it's going to tell us that the person is underweight. If that is not the case, we need to have the else, which is the second category. And the second category is the statement that comes after the second comma, which is this one. So after the second comma, you would have another if statement in that case. So everything that you see here, all of these are the second category of the first if statement. So this is some kind of nested value. Now, if BMI is less than 25, in that case, because we knew that, for example, BMI was not less than 18.5, and then we go to the if statement here, and then we check to see if BMI is less than 25. If it is, the person is healthy. Otherwise, the second condition is if BMI less than 30. If that person is, the BMI of the person is less than 30, that would be overweight. In the other case, we have checked all these different conditions and we have obesity. So now what we can do, first we do have our column here. Now let's just go ahead and enter or type our formula. So click anywhere here, get the edit formula option. And what I can here, I could just like type all of this information I have, or the if statement that I have, or you could just go ahead and copy and paste this. Let's just go ahead and copy that, select everything, Control C to copy it, and then go back in BMI range, bring your edit formula window, and then Control V to just paste it, and go ahead and apply. So once you apply, you will see that we have all those information according to the CDC guideline. So this is how we did the conversion, or you could also just type everything in. And that's basically how we can make a numerical attribute categorical. Thank you.